Hi folks, it's Tuesday. It's cold. It's cold and dry, which is what's important, but it's so cold that there's actually a dusting of snow on the top of the fells. What else is going on? Yesterday I had to stay home and trim my bush, not up in the bathroom. Get your minds out of the gutters. The one in my garden, topiary I believe it's called. I'm not particularly good at it. I would be better at it with a chainsaw. I just cut the whole thing down, but that's not what the score was yesterday. What else is happening? It's Lord's first round of the World Cup at the weekend. Super excited about that. Today I've got a chance to must have been windy last night. Today I've got some chance to get a bit of time on Double Down, so that's exactly what we're going to do. Double Down's turned out to be both the easiest and the hardest track that I've had to do here, both at the same time. Easiest because, frankly, the raking out is kind of, this is as far as you need to go, because this, with tyres over it, very quickly turns into that. So that's fairly straightforward. The hard part about it is when you get into places like here, where you've got them both to a point, and you're trying to plan out and map out the next way for them to go. If you're just thinking of it as one track, then there's tons of options for twisting through. But what might be good for track one isn't necessarily good for track two. So you've got to find, this time you've got to find a path to get both of them through and keep them as equal as possible. And to be honest, that is the tricky part about it, trying to keep things equal. But it's a lot harder to do than I thought, to be honest. Yeah, so hailstones, little bit random. I've honestly got no clue what's going on with today's weather. It's a bit mental. We've had 2 hailstorm showers. I mean, nothing major, but they both kind of came and went as quickly as that, you know. They were just suddenly, one minute it was like this, next minute it's hailstoning. I'm just at the moment cutting my way through branches and things hanging out to kind of make a route through. Here's the hailstone again. Weird, I don't know what the score is. To kind of get down to this area, we're going to put track 1 down through. I've got to move all this stuff off the ground before I can start digging it. You can just kind of see where my axe and my saw is. To move us down into this direction. Now, let's just get a bit further. Now what we've got is, along here, that runs right the way, the length of the site, and it kind of goes all the way through here, is what must be, I think, is an old logging road. And what I'm trying to do is to get both run 1 and run 2 all the way down as far as this logging road for today. It's been a strange old day. Weather's done all kinds. I'm knackered now. It's starting to get a bit later in the evening, and I think it's time to call it a day. Morning folks, Wednesday morning. Well, we had beautiful weather over the weekend. Monday and yesterday we had random hailstorm showers, and today we're back to beautiful weather again. So I'm not even going to pretend that I know what's going on with the weather at the moment. What I do know is it's time to keep cutting in these fresh loamy lines in for Double Down. I'm going to try and get a bit further down today, and it's World Cup weekend coming up, so pumped about that. It's just been released today that GNAR is probably going to be running a 29 of V10. Just, you know, obviously it sparks off a lot of questions. Are 29ers faster? Are they still faster if Gwynny beats you on his 27.5? It's all kind of in the air, isn't it? But it'll be interesting to find out for this bank holiday. You should have seen by now that I've updated the status, and not the status, the opening times on Facebook. I'm going to be open Saturday, Sunday and bank holiday Monday, but I'll put this out on Friday night. You've probably already seen that, to be fair. I've got down here on track, what's this, track 1, track 2's like nearly down there as well. I've just found I've got a bit of a problem, stroke issue to deal with. I mentioned yesterday about an old logging road that kind of passes right the way through the woods. I can point it out again up there. Well, the way that this has been so deeply rutted is that when I want to send it through this part, that is an over the bars situation there. So I'll have to get a solution for that. I think I've got one. So just to confirm that I've got down to here now, and I don't know if there's one, there's the other. Both of them are big ridge lines. They're definitely going to cause problems for front wheels. I know, on one side you could look at it as it's an obstacle that you need to overcome, but the other side you could put it is it's a fun blocker. Do you know what I mean? So I'm going to do something about them now. For the longest time now, I've always wanted to build some sort of like twin dual race thing together, not for any kind of serious against the clock thing, just to kind of race against your mates. So it was kind of inevitable that Double Down was going to come to GNAR Bike Park. I'll give you a little bit of a walk down track one, just a bit of housekeeping, I suppose. If I could just ask everybody that's coming up to respect that this area is closed off at the moment, and the track's not complete. And obviously if you keep off it, then it'll be ready and open sooner. That means there'll be less work for me to do on it. Anyway, all that aside, let's give you let's spin you around, and I suppose track one, track two. We're going on track two, so you can kind of you can see where track one is going. We'll give you a little walk down round this little corner. There's a couple of times where you're obviously going to be very close to each other. Right at the start here, we've got, just because track two has got a slightly steeper entrance, which should be a little bit quicker, they've just got a bit more of a corner to do than track one. And then, to be fair, track one goes tight again in through here. I'm trying to keep these as even as possible. Just heading down through this bit, you're going to get another good look at your mate again here next to you. Down and through. You can get, as I say, there's a few places where you'll be kind of right next to your pal, especially in this top section, so you'll know whether you've got a good start on them or not. And when we get down, well, I'll show you when we get down here. There's a slight branch off for you both into here. Now we just come to that spot that I said earlier that we've got a bit of a problem with. Well, I've got that sorted. I'll just bend this back round. So what we enter into from the bit that I've just walked you down is a much wider open. So I'm kind of late finishing again, but you know, it's not so bad. Got a bit done today. Well, certainly got to where I wanted to get done. From what I can see of the tracks, I mean, I'll check them again on Friday and give you an update then, but how it's looking now, the tracks are going to be running pretty much as they were last weekend, which does mean if you weren't here last weekend, then expect them to run a lot faster than they used to. I was getting a few comments back from riders from last weekend saying that stuff was running really quick now that it's dry and compact, so just watch yourself on the first couple of runs, I suppose, get used to the speed of it all. So anyway, yeah, Wednesday night, let's call it a day, get packed up and get home and have some tea. Okay, it's Friday morning. I didn't film much yesterday, I've got to be honest with you. The reason behind that is I kind of frustrated myself. I was up and down a section of hill, Jesus, like 30-40 times, looking for the next place to put in for the lines for Double Down. I kind of frustrated myself a little. I second and third guessed myself. Eventually found where the lines should go, but all that resulted in not much filming getting done. You might notice, I don't know if it shows on the GoPro, but you might notice that I'm driving to work a different way, a different route in than usual. That's because I've got something on the roof, and when I go the normal A6 way that I usually go, you kind of, the flow of traffic on that road kind of flows at around 60 miles an hour, and to be quite honest with you, with what I've got on the roof at the moment, if you do 60 it makes all kind of vibrations and weird rattlings, so just heading around the back roads a bit calmer. I suppose the next question is, well, what have you got on the roof? A friend of mine, Ando the Red Squirrel Ranger, came up yesterday and we were having a crack, and he's just kind of asking, well, what are you doing over the weekend? I explained open Saturday, Sunday, bank holiday Monday, but kind of get everybody signed in and get them away onto track. And then I've been given some wood, and I'm thinking about putting like together a picnic table and a couple of benches and stuff, and just make this area a bit nicer now that we've hopefully got some better weather coming. And he said, oh, I've got one of them at home. Now the score with his, he's giving it to me now, is that it's got a leg missing, but Andrew was like, well, I'm sure you can repair it, and yeah, I'm sure I can. Right, well, it's got 4 legs again. I've given the top a bit of a sand. I've got a finishing touch. So yeah, for all manner of reasons, I'm not going to say no when somebody offers me something free. It was a little bit up, missing a leg, but all sorted now. Got a bit of a kind of a brolly thing for it. I picked up from B&Q, and it's all tickety boo. It's a new place to be able to sit and have lunch, at the very least. Job's a good one. Probably do with some more of these. Okay, so Friday track checks. We had a shower last night that put down just the right amount of rain onto what was a very dry tracks, just to kind of, over on elementary at the moment, just to kind of tack up the surface a little bit. Still nice and hard and dry, but it's just got that tacky surface on it. I suppose it's a good example. Not enough to give us a puddle. This is one corner that can sometimes get a little bit of standing water in it if we get too much rain, especially in the winter, but just enough to tack it up a bit. Bang on. So I'm finding that last night's shower must have been pretty light. There's bits of the track that are still kind of dusty and dry. Well, a lot of the track is still dusty and dry, and you've got places like this in here, just that where I'm pointing there, that hole in between those 2 roots. That's a dead giveaway for how heavy any evening rainstorm is. That usually gets a puddle in. It's kind of dried up through there as well. All right. I'm just at the moment, I'm just really going through the tracks and picking off any bits and pieces. I've just spied one now actually. Let's duck all the way through here. So this is over on, get to the chopper. I don't know if you can see, there's like a big branch sticking out. Just stuff like this, stuff that you don't want to get in your spokes, you know what I mean? Just wind-blown stuff. So again, it's a fairly straightforward track walk today. Well, there isn't one forecast, but if it does decide to shower again tonight, it's no great shakes, no big problems. This stuff, I'm just on the alleyway of Gasoline Alley, and to be honest with you, this is a lot easier to walk down when it has kind of tacked up a bit. It's still pretty dusty in here. It's actually easier on a bike, to be honest, than walking down. But yeah, hang on. So yeah, it's just bits like this. You can see it. I'll take you back up. You see that this thing's blown and is now sticking out across the track. So sort that out. Sorry about that. I kind of got distracted with. It was like, must have been Tuesday night when it was windy. I kind of got distracted with random branches and stuff across the track, and I totally forgot what I was talking about. Anyway, track conditions are good. There's, as I say, a little bit tacky on the top. That'll do perfect. I'm open. You probably already know this. Probably seen on the Facebook thing. I'm open Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, with it being a bank holiday this weekend. It's World Cup weekend as well. Get in. Really looking forward to the highlights package of that one. Well, I've got to watch the full race, to be honest with you. I'll just watch the repeat on Sunday night. So that's something to look forward to as well. And if you're riding this weekend, have a great one. If you're coming up here, as always, pop in and say hi. And yeah, that's about me sorted. I'll see you soon.